hello. It's me. Back at it again. And actually, slightly injured this time. The situation has changed. I'm no longer standing up as I usually do, which is may or may not impact how I reason about things. But we'll see. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Boom. There we are. Yeah. Usually when I stream, I'm move my desk into a standing position or standing transformation. Yeah. I don't really know the right sequence of words for that. But usually I'm standing when I'm streaming and or getting real work done. Because I have a tendency to just kind of like shuffle in place to help stimulate the old brain so I don't get too bored. Because honestly, when I'm sitting down, I have a tendency to just kind of fall asleep. Like an actual degenerate. It happens, I guess. But here we are. Let's get started. Boom, there we are. Hooray, Godot 3.5. It only took, I think, 5 hours. That's what I posted in my Discord to update to Godot 3.5. We've done it. It's not quite, well, it's not super duper tested. I guess I really should try to, let me do this really quick. I really should try to test out this build before I really start developing on it, but I don't know. It seems to work good enough for now. You know, one thing really quickly before we continue on with the translation stuff. I do need to improve the build scripts for the Godot build I'm running. So let's do that. Nothing here, that's just the translation file. And then parsing that into just like a CSV file shouldn't be too hard as well. So, you know, a CSV file, that should be a bit more standard. At least that's the hope. Well, CSV style, somewhat standard. Excel file or like spreadsheet, fairly standard. Still not the most standard of tooling for managing translations, but not too hard to figure that out. It's really just a lot of parsing. Like I already have a fully functioning parser, so I'm not worried. But let me see. This is the Godot applier script that I've been using. So the idea is that given a repository, so we go here, virtual puppet project, browse the repos. All right, so we have a modules file .text. So these are all the modules. Spout, not quite there yet. Ruby, that's kind of a carryover from my personal stuff. Ruby will not be used in VPupper, so I suppose I should be removing that. But it's always kind of nice just to have like an mruby thing there. I don't know. More options leads to decision paralysis, though, so I do acknowledge that. Want to avoid doing that as much as possible. Let me see. So given something like this though, so for like spouts, you will need to grab the, like there's a spout SDK, so you'll need to grab that, blah, blah, blah. And Ruby GD, that requires like building mruby as a shared library, or I think it's just as like a library file on Windows. And on Linux or OS X, it compiles down to the prerequisite shared object files, and then you can link those against the headers, etc., etc. But see, that's a step that isn't covered here. I'm gonna switch the track that I'm listening to, by the way. Okay. So we pull all the module stuff, third-party stuff, patches. So we go in that order. I don't think the order really matters all that much because you don't ever need to, like module stuff, third-party stuff, that stuff is all independent, self-contained within their own directory. Patches implies that we're patching the engine, which we do actually use, or we utilize. I was trying to avoid saying do. That's something that happens here. So we have a Godot patches repository. So patches follows the standard kinds of folder layout that we're expecting. So you can have a modules folder, a third-party folder, and then patches. So we have gltf.patch, html5 build.patch. Not strictly necessary for VTuber, but if we can get it working in HTML5 exports, that could be cool. That could be cool. And then the last thing is here. The very, very last thing that needs to be implemented is having an execute file, or like an execution helper. So we can call it like helper.py, or maybe like a, we'll call it a helper.py file. Helper script.py, something like that. Helper script file, just so we're maintaining a consistent naming scheme. Helper script, why not? Helper script.py. Everyone loves a good .py file. I kind of dislike it when what you would call it, scripts that are not just like raw binaries when they leave off the file extension. I know why they do it, is so that you don't have to think about what you're using, right? They're all kind of the same type of file, right? So the script is basically a binary. Binaries are basically scripts. You don't need the programmer, or I suppose the system admin, doesn't need to worry. But I don't know, it's still something that irks me. It's like when I try to run something on Windows, it's like, oh, sorry, it doesn't exist in your env. Or like on Windows, this doesn't actually exist in my env. I don't have Python in my env. Although there is the env command, like that is a real thing. Godot module applier, but that's not what we're here looking at. Right, so you can do env, and I don't have Python there. I mean, Python is on my path, but at least I think Python's on my path. It might not be on my path. Yeah, it's somewhere there. The only thing that's really sticking out to me is the Eclipse Adoptium JDK 17. Oh, baby. I have it for one reason and one reason only. Or one reason and one reason alone, sorry. And that's to have BFG repo cleaner. Oh, you know what? I need to run that on VPupper eventually at some point. Because when you try to clone the repository right now, it's like 100, maybe 200 megabytes of just like worthless garbage. So let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to shut up at least a little bit. Probably, I don't know. Sitting down really kind of limits the capacity of my brain. Execute. That's not how you spell it. Execute applier helper. Execute helper script. That's probably a better name for it. Helper script. Save that. Yeah, I mean, that's probably good enough. Right? So this is, as the name implies, or as the description implies, and like just outright tells you, is that it's an ultra dangerous way of executing on modules helper scripts. So the script could be like literally anything. I don't do any input sanitization on the script either, but I mean, you know, whatever. It's meant as like in a situation where you have to move things around or run build commands completely independently of the scripts, etc., etc. So I think that makes sense. I think I'm going to send it. There's a vend. We don't need the vend. Git diff. Yeah. So, how neat. Git for helper. Yeah, just go ahead and push that. Cool. All right, let's get back to like actual Godot stuff. All right, so here you might notice we have a very fancy looking file over here, and this is actually our translation files. So everything here, well, a lot of things here are handled by the translation files. So for example, this OpenC face stuff, that's all handled by translation files. All this model stuff handled by translation files. So we load in everything initially. So we do need to run through the entire like translations folder and like load everything into place. We don't really need to do that. Now I'm thinking about it. What we could do is identify the locale in App Manager. So we have a translation manager, and then we could just load a specific translation if needed. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. So based on your locale, we'll try to auto load in the appropriate translation unit. Otherwise, it'll just use the default English translation. So we should always load in the English translation every single time. And of course, this is the reference translation. I think it looks quite nice. You know, could be better, could be worse, you know. That's not so bad. Kind of a pain to have to go through and, you know, control paste or copy paste, not control paste. What am I talking about? Let me see. Base layout. Alright, get GUI name. See, this is something that's kind of irking me because I don't have a great answer for this. For example, right? So for a lot of these GUI menus, for these labels in particular, I actually take the name from the file, which is a little tough. It's a little tough. So this is actually how we, this is how I generate it, right? So for menu and built-in menus, these are the built-in menus, and these come from these preloaded files, right? And then from that resource, we menu, resource path, get file, get base name, capitalize. So I take the file name and I just turn it into the name of the button. So that's actually kind of tough. I was thinking about it like earlier because I was working on just cranking out translations, but I'm thinking about it again, and man, there's like not a great way of attaching a name to these, especially for extensions. I think something that I could do. So what's going on today? Oh, hello, Demuriel. What I'm working on is translations. So look at this. I have a very fancy syntax. Ignore these. These are just kind of test translation keys. It's a very simple format. It goes key value. We split the entire thing by new line, right? And then we split each line by the little equal sign. And a valid translation has two parts: the key and then the actual message, which must be surrounded by quotes. You can have a multi-line translation just by adding a new line, and then if you want to have a literal quote, then you just escape it. That's pretty easy. But what I'm trying to puzzle out now is how to translate these files. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but these buttons take their name from the file name, which is not a great solution, or is kind of a dumb thing to do. In retrospect, I didn't really think about translating the button names when I designed the system. So I'll offer myself to translate it to Brazilian and Portuguese once it's done. Nice. What do you think about the openings I sent you on Discord? Extremely degenerate, for sure. To be honest, I don't really... I don't know. There's not too many anime openings that I'm a huge fan of. Like, I don't know. Like, anime openings tend to spoil a bunch of the story. IMO. Yeah, and yeah, these are done by file name. It was a good idea at the time because it saved a lot of effort. But now that I have to translate those, like, right, if I go into model, look at that. So these are all actually using translation units. So these are all pulling from this file. There's not a way to force a reload of translation files, but these names here, not translated. These take the node name. This name here, not translated. This takes its name from this button, which is tough. The buttons were to not use a file name or make the translation rename the folders, which is even stupider. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. This is tough, right? Because it's really nice, right? Because this is a really easy format to parse. So if I need to go to a more standard translation format, aka CSV, aka spreadsheet, like it's not hard to generate one of those. So I like the system, but it's just this part here, right? So we have, say, like model. You might notice that these nodes here correspond one-to-one with everything that shows up in the tree. So we have model, look at this. And we can see that it loaded in the new translation pretty seamlessly, I would like to add. But these things here match up one-to-one with these nodes on the left. So it was a good idea, I think, but it just did not take into account the fact that I might need to translate these. So that's tough. But also, this is what it looks like, by the way. So I need to go through every single one of the existing UIs. Go into this file, copy, paste, and replace all of these so that these are automatically inserted. I mean, it's nice how it just kind of works, but I'm thinking about the solution for now. How do I do this? Like, I could make this a dictionary so it's like string to resource, but then it doesn't take into account extensions, which is tough. You make the buttons not use text at all, but still use those nodes, and get the node to use a certain function or translation and add those text to the buttons. Make those buttons not use text at all, but still use those nodes, then use the node to use a certain function or translation. I'm trying to parse the sentence. It doesn't quite make a lot of sense. I'm a little confused. I feel like I know what you're trying to say, but I'm still baffled. What I was thinking about doing was just this. So we add a function to all base layout items. And then we just call that, but that doesn't actually solve my problem, which is that these are just resources. These are resource files. They don't get instantiated at any point. I suppose I could instantiate everything and then just hide them. Therefore, I have the object and I can load them in, I guess. We're basically dummy text assigned to the nodes and it gets added to the buttons. Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I had going on here, right? Like that, get GUI name, returns, missing key placeholder, and then this would correspond one-to-one with this. Right. So we get GUI name and then we would just translate it after the fact. But I'm thinking that's the hard part. Like, if I wasn't allowing the user to load in things at runtime, right? Everything was completely set. This would be a lot easier because then I could guarantee that we always have something. But now I can't make that guarantee because I'm trying to be flexible, but now I need to have a good system that works with the flexibility. So I'm thinking. So how do I make this play nice? Yeah, default GUI. Let's move this. What's my phone here? So like this is fine. This, I could attach a name to it, but that's still not great. I wonder, in a pack scene, is there anything I can attach to it? An abstraction can instance get state. What's get state? Scene state. Scene state. Wait, what the heck is this? A script interface to a scene file's data. Oh, that's cool. What is this? Get node name. I feel like this is not what I want. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is not what I want. Although this is interesting. Or maybe what I should do, I can go with the system that I had in mind. So we keep get GUI name here, and then in this part, we add every single node as a child and then just hide them. Because that's actually how the Godot editor works, is that it loads in every single pop-up and then just hides them, and then, you know, then you don't need to wait on anything to be created. And then also, because right now, how pop-ups work is that they... I only allow you to have one pop-up for each possible menu, right? So you can only ever have one menu pop-up. That makes sense? Which is why I wasn't immediately instantiating every single scene in the first place. Because I'm pretty sure there's very little processing that occurs at this point in time. Probably. Maybe. I gotta think about that. But that would allow me to pull out data from the node. Something else I could do. It's not a great idea, but I could totally do it. It's just add these. It's add these things to the translation file. So for model, right? We can just do like model. And that's technically valid. That's technically valid. I'm not happy with that though. I'm not happy with how this looks, but I'm pretty sure that would work. The only problem is that once you start getting into like extensions, it kind of requires each file to have a unique path. I mean, the code had to be janky at some point. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Like, I really don't think creating each pop-up and then just hiding it, I don't think that's a good idea. Probably. It might be. This is another idea, right? We call resource path, which gives you this resource. We call get file, which gives you the file name. And then we can use that to get the translation unit here. I mean, it'll work. It'll work. So if we do that, we could do something like that, and then we just force it to be translated. So force it to be used as a translation unit. So then here, this will break for a few things. Yeah. So it'll work. I mean, precisely because that's how I designed it to work. I don't think that's a good idea, though. Or I wonder... I wonder... I think I can do it that way. So... resource files only go... They go 1, 2, 3 deep. This goes 1, 2, 3 deep. Oh no. This'll work. I can guarantee uniqueness between all of these by doing it like that. And then I just need to strip off the... I need to strip off this part here. Is that the base direct? Is that what is referred to as the base directory? Or... Okay, hold on. I can do an R find, so find from the right side. I need to find the... Brain is turning. 1, 2, 3. I guess 2 deep is good enough as well. But 3 deep. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. What am I thinking of? I want to grab this text and use it as the translation unit. So how would you do that? And because I also want this to work with text for the extensions as well. Because I cannot just base it off of like a double / because I insert extra double / just to be extra safe about file pathing. Because having too many / is just like a no op. It's just ignored by the program, which is good. But then how do I get... So resource path, what does get base name give me? Get base name. If the string is a file path, returns the full file path without the extension. I don't know. Hold on. So get base directory, if the string is a valid file path, returns the base directory name. That's absolutely not what we want to do. Because it's not possible to guarantee the same base directory name on every single file system or every single distribution. That depends on where you place the project. Okay, so we print it. Alright, so that's not what we want. How do I find... Give me string. Get slice. Splits it. Oh, this one looks new. I don't recognize this. Splits a string using a delimiter and returns a substring at index slice. Returns an empty string if the index doesn't exist. It's a more performant alternative to split for cases when you only need one element from the array at a fixed index. Oh, this is almost exactly what I want, huh? So a fixed index, so 0, 1, 2. Yeah, okay, example. That's right. I don't need the extension. I don't need the base name. I don't need the base directory. Format, completely useless to me. Find last. Find and finds the first. Transfer substring ignoring case. returns the starting position of the substring or is -1 if not found. Isn't there an R find so we can find from the right? And then we can R find last as well, or is that not true? R find N. No. Performs a case-sensitive search for a substring, but starts on the end of the string instead of the beginning. That's kind of tough. I'm thinking. There must be a good way of doing this. There must be a good way of doing this. I'm thinking. Still thinking. Don't worry. I always get a little bit nervous when I just kind of sit here not saying anything. So we can do this. So we can do menu name, menu resource path, project settings, globalize path, right? And then we can do menu name is equal to menu name replace. All right, hold on. So we're globalizing it. So we get the full file path. So like res :/ / is not a real file path, right? That gets replaced at runtime to point towards, you know, an actual file path that you can find on your computer. But here, what we can do is we can grab the application path, aka the executable path. Get executable path. Then here, what we can do is we can replace the app path with absolutely nothing at all. And then if we do, we can just chain it like this. It doesn't matter. So replace that, and then that gives us this in theory. Probably. Probably. I'm not sure. So let's just print this for now and see what I get. Menu path, menu name. I'm just trying stuff out, seeing what sticks. So that gives me, oh, that was absolutely incorrect, right? Because that's my full computer path, yo. So like C, users, these, dev, virtual puppet project, vpopper, screens, GUI, pop-ups, model, text scene. That's not correct. Give me one sec. I always forget why I stopped using these earbuds. They hurt my ears. I need to get like they openings on my ear holes, or yeah, I'm not really sure what they call them. I mean, my ears, the ear canal, my ear canals are very thin, very tight. I keep forgetting though, I need to buy like kind of like specialized like little because these are IEMs, right? In-ear monitors. Like these are actual monitors that you would use on like stage. So they're very accurate. But whatever causes the airtight seal, it's just a little too big for my right ear canal. My left ear is like normal, but my right ear is all kinds of messed up. Like I think I also have a little bit of hearing loss in my right ear. I mean, compared to my left ear is extremely sensitive to the sound. I think my right ear is about normal. In the same way that my right eye is a little bit more blind than my left eye. That is to say that it's suffers a little bit more from astigmatism. But like I still have like near better than 20/20 in my left eye. And my right eye is like almost about 20/20, I think. Not to brag or anything. You know what? Since I've already gone off track, I'm gonna go use the restroom. BRB. You know what? I think I have a solution. It's not gonna be good though. Almost certainly going to be kind of bad. Almost certainly not a great solution. But it is a solution that guarantees uniqueness. Guarantees uniqueness. But it's not going to be great. What if I just do this? Default GUI model. You might be thinking, this looks a lot like what you were doing before. And I would tell you, you are absolutely correct. Except for the important distinction. Oh, that's not it. And we're doing this. So we capitalize it. We replace all spaces with underscores. And we upper the entire thing. And then after that, then we run it through the translation. Oh no. Oh no. And I'm like almost 100% sure like this is fairly foolproof. Oh, hold on. No. That's not foolproof at all. Hold on. So these are all built-ins. Therefore, we can do default GUI like that. Oh no. What is he doing? Someone stop him. So this will work for a model. We'll do the same for bones. Default GUI. Oh, yeah, that's fine. It doesn't quite fit the Well, I mean, these are pop-ups, right? All right, you know, we'll call it. We'll reuse the same naming convention. I don't like it though, but it'll work. And I can store this string. So this is default GUI pop-up, and then we just use this. So menu, resource path. So we're still using the file name. It's okay, I guess. File names are already hard-coded, so whatever. Had to be hard-coded somewhere. Just like you said, it has to be janky at some point. Did it have to be here? Probably not, but no, we don't always choose the hill that we die on. Tracking. And then the logs. I'm pretty sure, like, for logs, I also use the same thing. And then here I can even do like a resource path to something to simplify the entire process. Actually, where do I instantiate the logs from? So this would come from menu bar, right? Maybe. Possibly. Question mark. Log, space pop-up, new log. Oh my god. No, why am I like this? Oh, hello. Hello. Nokia Neck. How are you? I always forget who people are. My memory is not what it used to be for whatever reason. Death. Oh, you're Shuba. Okay. I remember now. Oh, hello, hello. I'm currently writing some garbage. It's you know, going about as expected. So settings, yeah, okay, here we go. Here we go. This is not good. But we're doing it. Because I don't want to accidentally... Oh, you know what? What if I just do it like this? I'm working on translation files right now because there are... Translation files are something that everyone can work on. It's pretty easy. I could just do it like this and just use like the uppercase name. Yeah. It's gross, but it'll work. That'll definitely work. Guaranteed. It's not great, but it also means that I can just assume, like, you know, just don't translate these uppercase things. And then also don't use all uppercase in like any text scene file, which is fine because I don't actually use that many text scene files. Except for logs. Oh no. Okay. Default GUI. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. This is tough. This is tough. That's tough. That's tough. Do you think this will work? I don't know why I'm asking, but... So default GUI, whatever. Bring me back. Bring me back to what I was using before, which is just this part. So we just translate this. Just hard translate it, that's fine. So just do this, capitalize. So this is just model. No, that's a horrible idea. What am I thinking? I mean, Maybe. Because there's nothing that says, like, you can't do this. It does seem a little fragile, though. But if you ever translate these words by themselves, it might break. But, you know... it should be okay. And then just to demonstrate, so we'll mess up the model translation. Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's extremely fragile. But it also means I can drop in, drop out these translations really easily. I no. I think this is what I'm gonna do. I think that's what I'm gonna do. What am I doing? So tracking, give me props. So props will be translated properly as well. Props. Phenomenal. Logs should be fine. Which one of these has a multi-word name? I'm curious if my system works for multi-word names. So remote control has a multi-word name. All right, well, we go to extensions, remote control server, new folder, translations. So you provide your own translation units, EN, text. We go to, what do I call it? Remote control. Is that what I called it? Just remote control, just straight up? Remote control. Is that what I called it? What are you programming? I'm programming this virtual puppet project. You know, you might notice it. You might remember it from all the other things from all the times I've worked on it in the past. You know, it happens. How did I determine the name of this? Oh, it's just this remote control, huh? Something like that. Mess it up again, but yeah, I'm programming in GDScript, if that was the question. Oh my god, it works. All right, cool. So that'll work. Yeah, we can use, you know, big props to myself. I wrote something that is flexible enough to support keys with spaces in them. How bizarre. It'll work though. Yeah, I mean, I think that's gonna have to be it. Because I don't have a better solution. So you, the preferred way of doing this is to have all keys be all caps. You know, we can do it like this. We can just uppercase it. Did you take code from the internet? Or some algorithms, yeah? Why? What's the question? Is it like, oh, you're cheating? Because if that's the assertion, I've got bad news for you. Is it 2 upper? Is that what it's called? 2 upper. Yeah, good programmers, like, you need to know when to be smart about stuff, when to, you know, take the easy way out. Nothing wrong with taking the easy way out. You know, it's just like, yeah, I see people talk all the time about like, oh, you know, these devs are lazy. They're using Unity or Unreal. Why don't they just write their own engine? It's like, you know, tell me that you aren't a programmer without telling me that you aren't a programmer, right? Writing your own engine, it's like, yeah, you get more control, but like, you don't need more control, honestly. There aren't very many instances where it helps having more control, like, especially in this day and age where computers have a ton of RAM, tons of extra processing power. You know, you don't really need to squeeze every single bit of performance out of the computer anymore. You can afford to waste a few cycles because your game can only run so fast. Why not make your own engine? I mean, is that like a real question, or did you want like the sarcastic answer? Let me see. So logs, blah blah blah. So I guess this is fine. Settings. I don't have anything translated for settings just yet. No, like really, why not without using any code from the internet? Oh, without using any code from the internet, it's not possible. With, well, I shouldn't say that. It is possible. You could get an AMD 64 manual. You could buy one of those, program everything yourself. Well, actually, and yeah, no, you know what? I don't think it's actually possible. Yeah. In this day and age, no. You would need to dig up like all kinds of manuals in order to program your own game engine. Or even program your own application from scratch without using the internet. Yeah. At this point in time, not possible. You've heard it here first. Right, because programming your own engine means that you need to, presumably, from scratch, means that you're not using OpenGL, which means that you're just hitting raw Windows APIs. And then, you know, most of the Windows APIs actually only is extensively documented on the internet. I don't know if you can find like a manual for it. What is the ratio of internet code to your own code? I don't copy and paste code from the internet. That's dumb. What if you aren't using Windows? Well, you know, good luck. Then you gotta sift through all the cruft, right? Like, I suppose you're using like Linux. Are you going to program your own display server? I don't think so. Considering that, you know, there's two dominant display servers on Linux. There's X11 and Wayland. Wayland has been in development for a while, and X11 is the dominant one. And, you know, X11 sucks. Wayland, still not released, still not stable. So you buy a chip manufacturer? Yeah, let me just get a few $1 billion together real quick. I get a small loan of $4 billion from my dad to buy Taiwan Semiconductor. No problem. Alright, menu bar, landing screen. Guess we'll just grab this. This is like settings, I suppose. Or this is default GUI. Settings? Is that where I put it? Just GUI settings? Why not pay your taxes? I did pay my taxes. What are you talking about? Nice try, IRS. I didn't even get a, what's it called? A tax refund. What's it called? I had to pay more taxes after I did my taxes. So I guess we'll just call it settings. Like, that's pretty easy. That should translate debug console. So there's debug and then there's debug console. Those are actually two different things. I think. Still thinking about it. I think this is the approach I'm going to go with, though. It is not fantastic. Maybe the first one to tell you that. Debug console. And then actually, for this base pop-up stuff, since we're always just using the... Yeah, you know what? Hold on. Here, when we create the base pop-up name is always just based off of the scene name. And if we're always going off the scene name is static anyways, which means we can do this. Base pop-up, grab that, change how it's initted, and then we just use the resource path of the well, you can't do that. You can't guarantee that. That's true. All right, that's fine. Whatever. If you use some transitions, you make a CPU. I wonder how many it would take though. Well, I know that I've seen a few YouTube videos of someone, they made their own CPU. It was extraordinarily slow, but right, like I think they was only able to get up to a tick rate of like 1,000 ticks per second or something, which is, you know, by the way, very slow for a CPU. You know, you might think like, oh, 1,000 per second, how fast? But no, not really. If you consider how many times your CPU and your, like, a calculator updates per second. Well, actually, I don't know how many. Actually, on a calculator, I'm not sure. I mean, I shouldn't talk about that. Let's do settings. Resource. Path. What is it? It's get file, get base name, something like that, to upper. I don't really have a string util. You know what? Let's just hard translate this. That's fine. Settings. This one, we can hard translate this as debug console. Some of these just have to be weird. I think that's unavoidable. In-app help. Oh, that's not how you do it. Translate in-app help. And there's still so many UI items. I also need to fill out. This is gonna be a lot of fun once I get around to it. So licenses, translate. At least 1 megahertz for calculators. Millihertz, add a child. No children. Proudly have no children. And it's gonna stay that way for a while. In fact, I'm in the business of freeing children, which is another kinder way of saying I'm not gonna say that out loud. that would be a bad soundbite to have. So settings, that needs to be done. Logs is down here. Default GUI prompt settings, that's fine. Logs, yeah, I guess logs is just kind of its own thing. Well, GUI pop up. Oop, totally messed that up. Just drop all this stuff down here. Megahertz, not millihertz. I don't remember. I don't do that kind of stuff. You know, I'll have just reminds you that I am not I never took computers. I'm not a computer science major. I'm a business major. That's what I studied in school. Pretty much, not entirely self-taught, but very self-taught. Which is why I always find it amusing when people say like, oh, you know, I think programming's too hard. Well, I mean, I was able to learn it, so does that make me really smart, or or potentially the opposite? I'm curious. You know, it's just a lot of reading, right? But I don't know. All these technical terms, milli, milli, mega, who cares? It's just MHZ. It's some sort of high number. Alright. I think this is how I'm going to do it. And actually, it's totally okay to have duplicate keys. All it means is that you just overwrite an existing translation. I think I could probably write like a validator for this. I'm not going to though. But it's very easy to validate. This is not how you spell licenses. Licenses. Actually, I think licenses is more or less standalone. And I think everything else should translate just fine. Yeah, the big thing about this is that I do need every single key to be fully uppercased, so it's easy to figure out when there's a problem. Right, because if I do it how I was thinking about doing it, right, like you just do the key how you would think it should be spelled. So you have like regularly capitalized model corresponds to model. Then you don't know where you're not using, you know, the key, right? Sometimes you'll just be using the raw string model instead of the translation key model. That's the idea. And that's why all of these are ultra long, right? Is that it's very obvious when you are not using the translation key. But I think in the interest of keeping this simple, I think this is how I'm going to do it. But you know what? In base pop-up, I'm pretty sure I can just kind of fudge it here. So if I flip this, and this is going to be a huge pain to flip it, but hold on. Well, actually, that's not so bad. I only use it in like 2 files, actually. You know what? Let's flip it. We can flip it. It's weird. It's weird, but we can flip it. So here, this is going to start throwing errors. Leave that as an empty string, and then we do if pname empty, then the name is equal to the screen resource path get file get base name replace spaces with underscores and then to upper, something like that, right? So then we can go into every single other file that we were editing. Oh, and then we should also translate, like force a translation here as well. Yeah, so we can do this now. So that's valid, this is valid, this is valid. Oh baby, we're changing stuff against my better judgment. Because I think it's cleaner. The less hard-coded strings in the application, the better. Then here. So pop-up name, this actually needs to be switched. So pop-up name. But actually, I think I can just use, so create pop-up. Ooh, it's thundering outside. Oh. My internet has a tendency to cut out when it starts to thunder. Have to be careful. So how do I generate the pop-up name? You know what? What if I just do, if I do this? Because I can almost guarantee... it'll probably be fine, I don't know. I think it's better to have a dedicated pop-up name, but I think in this instance it's worth it. So we just do that. Do this, pass in the scene. I'm thinking. Because we, no, yeah, we do need to pull the, okay, this one we do need to pass in a strict pop-up name. And then this is pop-up name. Yeah, we can just do it like this. Because this one we don't know what we're passing in. Right, and the menu bar, we know exactly which items go on the menu bar because I provide all of those. But here, you know, I don't provide every single pop-up that may or may not be there. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Base pop-up, base pop-up, base pop-up. Okay, I think that's okay. So then we can go here, and we should see a little bit of breakage. If there's no breakage, that would be very disconcerting. Yep, okay, there we go. Invalid type function new. Cannot convert argument 2 from object to string. Cannot convert argument 2 from object to string. Oh, sorry. So that's scene. Ah, no. What am I doing? What happened? Where am I? This one. Scene. Send me. And then also go back to here. Bring me to here. Just to make sure. Just so it's easy for me to determine what's going on. So that's working as expected. Go into here. We explode. Invalid type and function create pop-up. Cannot convert argument 1 from object to string. Oh, I need to switch these. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, so that's scene. So this should be pop-up name, some sort of string, which means that this needs to change to flip around the arguments because now pop-up name is technically optional. Blah, 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 go into here. Anything broken? I think it looks okay. Like, that's working as expected. Model, I don't remember if this is still using the hard-coded value. Probably not, though. Could work, could work. And then the button text. I think it's this I need to figure out a better way of doing that. You know what we can do is this translation manager. I can have a thing here that's just like a static function to translation key, or it's res path to translation key, or res path to key. Yeah, I like that. So this takes in some sort of res path, which is a string, and it returns a string. Very easy. So then we do res path get file, get base name, capitalize to upper, replace spaces with underscores. Yeah, that's not so bad. Oh, and then we just need to return it. Right. Okay, yeah. And I wonder, yeah, I could probably just force a translation right there, but nah, let's not do that. Let's do this translation, manager, res, path to key, menu, resource, path. Yeah. I think that's an okay solution. Not the biggest fan, but it will definitely work when I need it to work. Yeah, okay. Cool. And I guess, of course, I can also do it like AM, TM, res path to key. That will also work. Okay. So that solves this problem. So here, this is pretty easy, right? So let me actually check. Did I translate everything in the menu bar? So that looks okay. That looks fine. That looks fine. Okay. And then if I untranslate a few things, that will also, well, it will not be fine, but that's expected, right? Right. Nope. Okay, hold on. So it's not using it. So it's not working how I thought it should work. So if we go to menu bar, did I add those manually or am I stupid? Am I stupid? Oh, default get, oh yeah, right. That's right. But what changes here is if I go to settings, nope, that's not true. If I go to settings, okay, so it uses the translation thingy for settings, which might be expected, question mark. But now they're out of sync. Oh no. Oh no. So menu bar. Man, there's a lot of keys. There's a lot of keys for sure. I'm thinking. So if we do it like that, then that's okay. That still doesn't solve, but it doesn't solve a few things. Like, for example, how settings is laid out. So these values need to be somewhat fancy, I guess. So this is default GUI. I don't know, man. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it still. We can use some of these, use file names. That's fine. I still don't think that's a great idea. I still don't think that's a good idea. Even though I know it, I've already demonstrated that this will work. I don't think that's a great idea. Because that means that any setting screen that an extension may provide, or like any prop setting or like any about thing that an extension may provide, it's possible that it will overwrite the built-in, which I don't want. I could just prepend all of these with like default GUI. That'd be pretty weird. Yeah, you know what? I mean, that'll work. That'll work. right? So const default GUI prefix. Something like that. And then here we'll do like so. So just string format everything. Yeah. Then default GUI prefix. Just kind of slap that into there. Yeah. Then this will just be default GUI tracking. I think it does increase the likelihood that way. Or it decreases the likelihood that we run into collisions, I guess. As long as I always translate everything like this. And I'm consistent with the naming. So these are all pop-ups, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Default GUI model. Default GUI debug console. Yeah, that's okay. So it's like a way of namespacing this stuff. Yeah. Which means that we can do am tm respath to key scene resource path. Something like that. Menu bar, well, maybe not menu bar, but base pop-up. We can do am tm res path to key p screen resource path. Something like that. And then that might solve a few other things. Not sure. It seems about the same, which is, I think that's good. Settings, click on this, yep. Okay. And then it's just the landing screen that has a few other things that are different. That's fine. You know what, landing screen? I think that's a good solution. I think. I really should go back into the landing screen then and change that so it's all consistent. Where do these even use the names? Yeah, this doesn't even use the name. Where's landing screen? I mean, I closed it. Okay. Run. Oh, landing screen runner. Well, I mean, they're not super related though. It's okay, yeah. Hold on. I kind of don't like this. All right, pop up. Find all of this stuff. This needs to be case sensitive, match case. So there's a lot of places where we are using this, and then just replace this with nothing. Just get rid of it. Ooh, okay, I'm scared. I potentially have broken a few things. Reload me. Alright, so all this stuff looks fine. Presets, that looks fine. Okay. I guess it's okay. Default GUI presets, default GUI config name label. Alright, I like that better. So basically, we always use the file name for all of the built-ins. And then we also prepend a namespace to anything that we provide. So landing screen runner needs to be namespaced as well. So I'll just find this. Oh, no. Like this. Landing screen. And then match case. It doesn't need to be the full thing. We're not going to change globals, though. That's wrong. This is globals. Nope, we still want that. Change, nope. Base tree layouts, that's also fine. Menu bar, that's fine. Oh, no. Oh, here, yeah, here is where we want to do it. So we'll do default GUI landing screen. So we'll just hit it with a really quick find and replace like so. Oh, and then boom. 2 files. So, okay, so now we're super consistent, probably. Looks okay. Here's your GUI selector, default GUI, and then we can even verify that it actually worked by going back here. And then, I don't know, just messing with the translation value. Yeah, run ASDF. Okay, nice. Okay. So that's our GUI stuff. And we can even simplify this stuff because, you know, now that we have the default GUI stuff, there's no ambiguity. Oh, baby. All right. This is what happens when you just start writing an application, but you don't think ahead about pretty much everything. I'm still doing a lot of things on the fly still, which is very scary if you think about it. Considering that this is now, I think, the 4th iteration of the UI. And then once again, I have not planned ahead for potentially translating any of this into other languages. So, you know. Oh no. But I think this is okay. This is okay. And I think that'll translate fine. I just gotta check that we're translating all the things we need to translate. So this looks good. This looks good. Presets, that looks good. Some of this stuff, like preset name. So like the placeholder, preset name, presets. What is it called? Presets. There is your text scene. There's your line edit. Oh, presets. Oh, it does. I didn't even add anything to this. Okay. Sure. Oh, because this is this was gleaned from looking at the actual, or not the actual, but like the right side. So I translated all of this stuff, but I didn't translate this side, aka preset name and the save button. So I need to do that. Okay, so this is. Ooh, that's not the right button. GUI presets. New preset name placeholder. So it's a long key, but that's okay. This is default GUI presets. New preset Buton. Yeah, and then I think this is just save. New preset, save button. Yeah, just call it save. So I could try to reuse some of these words, but I'm not going to. If only because I don't think it makes sense, because otherwise I might as well just translate the entire dictionary, and that's not a good idea. You know, I'm not a scientist or anything, but I don't think that's a good idea. Preset name. Oh, that's the placeholder. Right. So does that translate automatically? I've never checked. Oh, look at that. If it translates automatically, or auto-magically, if you will. Oh, baby. Look at that. It's beautiful. So default GUI presets, new preset name placeholder, and then this is default GUI presets, new preset save button. And then, you know, this gets automatically converted to this stuff. And then all of this stuff is just parsed at runtime to be parsed properly, I guess. Just to make sure that we're also naming the window the correct thing. So this is presets with 2 S's, presets with 2 S's. Very good. Now, the only thing left to do is to try to rename all of these things. And by these things, I mean, like, we go to settings, general, that needs to be translated. Rendering also needs to be translated. I need a good idea for that. I could try to rename the nodes using the same kind of logic. Yeah, I think that's it's not great. Let me be the first to tell you that. It's not great, but I can do this. So for set, oh, don't get out of here. I'm pressing the wrong keys. Settings. So we can go through every single one of the pages. So like in setup here, for example, we can go through build tree, set tree, build tree. So when we build tree, we get all the page names. So here we can rename everything. So the page name is the child name capitalize. Oh, okay, here we go. No. No, that's not a good idea. Hold on. Res path to key, and then tree item to key, something like that. I think that makes sense. I think it's tree item to key. So we'll also have a res path to key, which we can then use to I think that'll work. I think this will work. So we can do. I'm thinking. How do I turn these page names into translatable values? So each page name will look like this. It will look like this. So general and rendering. So these aren't translated yet, but a better example would be, for example, model. How do I translate these? So these are all nodes. Huh. I can do, because I need like a, I need a solution that will just work, or if not just work, it will work across, it's reusable across many files. regardless of whether or not it actually has like a list here that you can click on. Let's just start typing and hopefully I'll figure it out. A process that has historically served me quite poorly, but I keep doing it anyways. Because it hasn't caused me enough pain to to stop doing it, and therefore. So this is like item. Res item to key. So given a resource path, which is a string, given the item name, also a string, I'll return a string. So we'll return underscore res path to key, res path, phenomenal. Copy this. Nope, not like that. Like this. And then item name, capitalize, to upper, replace all spaces with underscores. So we have res path to key, so it's a resource path to translation key, which is what I'm using for like naming and stuff. And then for pretty much everything else, it should be using res item to key. So this is resource item, aka one of these things, a child of the tree. So these are children of the tree. So how this would translate out would be, you know, default GUI model general. Did you create Godot engine? Oh yeah, for sure. 100%, no lies. You're talking to the real Juan. What's redoes his last name? You serious? Oh yeah, you can tell 100% by the tone of my voice. I'm 100% serious, and also by the phrasing. No room for sarcasm here. Let me see. And it's also something I learned in school is that sarcasm generally isn't regarded as something. Like if a statement is obviously sarcastic, it actually cannot always be used against you, unless such sarcasm would cause a misunderstanding that leads to a material loss. So, just in case you were trying to catch me in some sort of lie, I am legally protected. I honestly can't tell if you're being sarcastic. Well, you should probably go outside more and talk to people, because I've got news for you. That was a statement absolutely dripping with sarcasm. Unless that was also a sarcastic statement, in which case, congratulations, you got me. It is like very hard to send sarcasm over text, though, or imply sarcasm over text. Whereas if you're going by voice, then you kind of have a general gist of how I normally talk, Right, so I guess if you, I don't know, if you're just using like Twitch's built-in closed captioning, you wouldn't be able to tell I was being sarcastic, but you know, I suppose at that point you have bigger problems. You are a some sort of D word. Very good. Nice. Good job. Excellent. 10 out of 10 joke. I've never seen it before. Certainly one of the biggest Richards out here. You know, there's actually a club somewhat near me called Swinging Richards. I've never been to it, but I do have several friends who have gone there as like it was a hazing thing, of course, but they went to a different school than me, so it's okay. But Swinging Richards, so if you're not a native English speaker, Richard translates, or a nickname for someone called Richard is Dick. So like Richard Cheney, former U.S. vice president, also known as Dick Cheney. Haha. Swinging Richards. Get it? It's a gay bar. Actually, I think is Swinging Richards a gay bar? Is it a gay strip club? I forget. It's one of those things. All right, I think this is okay. So here, what we can do is page name, capitalize, build tree, blah blah blah. So if we do var page name string is equal to amtm res item to key, so then we grab the resource path, and then this is child name. Yes. No? Resource path is not defined in the current scope. Really? Really? Hold on. This is probably going to explode. So let me give me one sec. Set up. What do we use initial page for? Initial page, and then there's a few things. Let's go to model. Model uses the same structure. So initial page. Okay. Let's comment that out. Initial page is equal to am translation manager res item to key. So this should be resource path. Do we really not have a resource path here, huh? And the item name is general. Really? No resource path. I mean, that's probably fine. Let's just do it like that. It's a little difficult to... Okay, yeah. So resource path. Invalid get index resource path on base hsplit container settings.gd. I mean, that's probably fair. Why are these so like messed up? This is self. No resource path, because this is a hsplit container, so you don't have a resource path associated with you, which is a little tough. Base tree layout, settings, set up, which is in base layouts. Oh, good. This is tough. This is tough. Because on these kind of raw scripts, you don't actually have a resource path to translate against. Yeah, actually, yeah, because you lose the resource path, yeah. So that will work. I know that. This isn't good. That's not a good. This is not a good solution. that's so tough. That's so tough. That is so tough. Bring me back. Just don't do it. Don't do it. I think I need to look at it one more time. Yes, it's tough. It is tough. So this isn't translated yet either, but like, how do I translate these? Because these are just like random screens. Right, like this is how they're laid out, is that we have these pages here. I am hesitant. I shouldn't be renaming the node. Google Translate, yeah. Good one, good joke. 10 out of 10. But I'm not trying to translate it into a different language, is the thing. I'm trying to translate it into one of these keys. So how do I auto magically translate just an arbitrary name, and I need to namespace it as well, so there's no kind of name conflicts. Because if there is a name conflict, there's actually nothing that happens. It doesn't do anything, or I don't get a notification that there's a name conflict. It just kind of happens. Let me think. So if we do, I can do it based off of the. Oh yeah, I can do it based off of the parent's name. Yeah. Okay. So we can call this like parents item to key, and then this is the parent's name. We'll call it like parent's name, something like that, and then just reuse the same function because you know the parent name, res name, it does roughly the same thing, right? Because we'll do get file, get base name on the parent name. So these are basically like wasted operations, but that's fine. Sick banana, it's peanut butter jelly time. Something's kind of messed up with the face, I think, though. It's peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. One of those. So this is parent item to key. Yeah. So we do name. Yeah. I like that. So we can do it like this. AMTM. So translation manager, parent item to key. We pass in our own name, which should be correct because we don't translate the node name. We only translate the display name. Yeah, I think. I think that's correct. And then this is base layout. Yep, that's right. These are all connections, but that's fine. Base tree layouts. Okay, let me go here, page name. So we translate it like that. This is parent item to key, and then this should just give me some garbage. Imagine a toilet, but made entirely of carpets. What? You know, that's done. I'm a little confused. Isn't grass nature's carpets? Are you describing a litter box? Is that what you're doing? So invalid get index general on base. Dictionary. So what do we have in dictionary? So initial page, this is for settings. All right, so settings is borked, that's fine. We can fix that. Translation manager over here. All right, already have it over here. That's fine. Okay, yeah. So we need to translate this. That's okay. So initial page is equal to AM translation manager parents item to key name general, something like that. So if we run it like there, we explode. That's good. Who is this? Who are we setting up? Default runner. Oh, this is under runners. Okay, so runner. We also need to have some very specific setup logic. So the initial page, default runner name. I think this is still valid. Yeah, we can do the same thing here. So initial page is equal to AM translation manager parents item to key name default runner name, something like that. Run that. Are you making a tubing program or something? I'm not sure if that's sarcastic or not. I've heard dumber. I'm still a little unclear. Alright, so VRM. Invalid get index VRM on base dictionary. Pages. Default runners VRM. What's initial page? Initial page is VRM. Okay, so initial page is VRM. And what does your program do? It's a VTubing program. You might recognize it from my previous work on this application. I guess I don't know. Are you familiar with that work? Smart ass. I don't know. Like, I'm not the one asking dumb questions. Let me see. VRM. So in runner, when do I set the default runner? How is it dumb? I mean, are you familiar with the concept of VTubers? I mean, I guess I'm a little confused considering that I've been working on this for a year and a half at this point. And you're not a new chatter unless you are account sharing, in which case I would discourage you from doing that. I don't read your stream title, also wasn't here. Oh, sorry. Apologize for calling you out for not being able to read. I guess I don't understand. You know, like suppose if you haven't guessed by now, my tolerance for dumb questions is somewhat low, especially when I'm actually using, you know, 90% of my brain to actually try to problem solve, and I'm using the remaining 10% to just kind of ramble on aimlessly. Since I've already established who's who. Let me see though. You know, oh no, toxic streamer, whatever. I don't get paid to do this anyways. I can be as toxic as I want. So initial page is incorrect, huh? The setup is this doing something I don't want it to do? No, that's all correct. Build tree. So we're in build tree, and it's in build tree where we're exploding. Tree item, set text, page name, pages, page name, page new, child item, and then child's item. Nothing there, huh? But the pages look correct, right? Default GUI runners, default runner, and then there's default GUI runners VRM. But the initial page is still set incorrectly to just regular VRM, which is not right. But this is in runners. Okay, hold on. Default runner, initial page. It's because of the initial page is not set correctly. That's why. But wait, where was I setting this? So this is post setup. Oh, it's because I need to set the initial page. Wait. How was this working before? This is in runner. How did this work before? Because this doesn't have an initial page. What? Who wrote this? Or is initial page something that's defined here in base tree layout? It shouldn't be. Yeah, initial page is just a nothing. Am I stupid? Create view. I'm missing something. I made just a heinous error. Name, initial page. Data, name. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go use the restroom again. I'll be right back. Alright, alright. So create view is used in several places. I'm still a little confused as to what I set initial page to. Because I'm pretty sure this is in the wrong order. So this actually should be like so. Something like that. Okay, that's a bit weird. What the what? Okay, sure. That's a bit weird, but we can work around that. Default runner path get file get base name capitalize replace. This isn't good. I hate this. So to do this is gross. I need to think of a better way to. It's like a lot of these things are dependent upon like order of execution, which is really confusing me. That is not my strong suits. And then also initial page is still like absolutely borked. Luckily this one's pretty easy to revert. So there's your entry point. Oh, and then initial page here. That's right. Maybe this didn't even need to be changed. You could just do this. Oop, whoops. Ah. So we can do that. Initial page. Equal to AMTM parent item 2 key. So this is name default runner name. Should be fine. I'm not sure what this is though. It seems strange. And then here I need to do the same thing. Initial page is equal to AMTM parents item to key name next runner name, something like that, and then execute one more time. Yeah, seems okay. So default settings, default GUI settings, general rendering. Then this is default GUI runners default runner. Okay. Which is actually not quite correct. This should be pulling in a translated value from somewhere. Let me think. Because that's almost certainly not correct. Default runner. Do I have any translation values for default runner? No, I almost certainly do not. Yeah, no. So I need a way to pull translation values. Like, I have all the translation stuff done except for the fact that a lot of my UI stuff depends off of these runner values. Or not these runner values, these tree item values. So I keep saying tree, but it doesn't look like a tree, but that's because it's a 1 level deep tree, which is tough. So it's almost beautiful, but this very, very last part of the puzzle is just boggling my mind. So like I can accept this, that's fine. Because base pop-up translates itself, which is good, right? Resource path to key. Yeah. Although I suppose I do need to... make sure that I'm even able to get a resource path. If not, this thing empty, else p screen name. So this covers pack scenes, GD scripts, because those are both resources. Otherwise, we'll just try to get the name, and then after that, we'll just let it explode. That's fine. This menu bar, that's okay. Translation manager, that's fine. Base pop-up, I think it's good for now. Now it's just the tree items that are really tough. It's like I need to have metadata available about every single item. But that's something I didn't really think about when I was designing this. I'm thinking. Because this is wrong. Right, that's wrong. Like, I need to get the extension that this is associated with so I can grab that translation item. Yeah. Otherwise, you just you end up with garbage, right? So like this is what I define as garbage. Default GUI runners, default runner. That's not garbage, but this is default GUI runners VRM. That's garbage. This should be pulling from the VRM translation files. But default GUI runners, default GUI is the prefix. Default GUI. It's something that I provide for you, which is not correct. I'm thinking though, there must be a better way of doing this. I just the solution is escaping me right now, or it's eluding me. That's a better word for it. So tracking, that's fine. All of this stuff is fine, I think. Create tracker info. Default GUI, yeah, that's fine. Default GUI. On pressed, that's also fine. Pop-up, create pop-up. Yeah, that's fine. We just flip that stuff around. And then this is this thing. Oh, and then this should be translated as well. Pop-up name. Well, I guess it doesn't. Yeah, actually, that might be better, right? Is that we... Oh no. Well... All right, this is also bad. Now I'm looking at it again. That's also bad. No, I don't think this is usable. This is the wrong solution. This is the wrong solution. This is not a good one. I can't use this. Because this immediately breaks once you start loading in third-party stuff. Yeah, yeah, because all of this assumes that you're loading in the default stuff because that's what I'm using right now. But yeah, okay. I'm thinking. I'm still thinking. Is there a way for me to check in the translation server if something exists? Hold on. Translation server has translation. Please, has translation? Oh no. Returns the current locale's translation for the given message key. So that is, no, that's not something that you can do actually. Because I've tested this before. So if the translation key doesn't exist, well, actually, hold on. Given, let's look at the scratch file again then. So if you just pass in some garbage, this should just give me ASDF, right? Yeah. So I pass in ASDF, then it'll give me back the same key, which means if I pass in a garbage key, it'll give me back the key as the translation, which is not correct. But I can use that to my advantage here to check to see if I can check to see if there's a translated message or if it just gives me back the key. If it gives me back the key, then I can check within the extensions. But no, that's not how that works. There's... That's tough. You know what? I'm gonna undo these changes. That's fine. Wait. Hold on. No. I think this change is fine. This one I'm still a little suspicious about. Default GUI prefix. I don't think that's usable. I don't think that's a good change. I really don't think that's a good change. Like, a lot of this stuff is fine, right? Everything that's being handled automatically for me is okay, right? Everything that's being handled for me automatically is fine. Although I do need to rethink this part. But menu bar, I think that's good. Default GUI. I can't do this. I can't use this. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea. I cannot use the resource path to key because you can load in extensions and then the extensions won't have the appropriate translation value. Like, this is fine, right? I can do this for the built-ins, right? Because this is a built-in resource path to key. I should actually rename that. It's like a built-in Yeah, I should rename that to built-in resource path to key. So built-in res path to key, something like that. Rename it, just, you know, send it. I think that's better. It's closer to what I actually want it to do. And then this should be parent name capitalize to upper, replace spaces with underscores. But I don't know, like the more I work with this, the more I'm thinking I shouldn't be doing this. I should have each file provide its own name somehow. And then I use that provided name, not necessarily the node name, but the provided name as the translation unit. Yeah. I need to undo this. I need to undo a lot of this stuff. So undo me. I think the change to base pop-up is a good one. For sure. Let's go back to this. So to do... This will break for custom... For extensions, basically. Any extension that tries to use this will explode. Yeah. Yeah. Or we can do like a two key kind of thing. So we'll do like static function like two translation key. So some sort of text, we don't know. Gives you back a string. Pretty easy, so text. So we'll capitalize it. We will to upper it, and then replace spaces with underscores. And so I mean that's fairly self-explanatory. So to translation key parent name, right? To translation key parent name. Fair enough. And then to translation key item name. To translation key item name, but that doesn't solve everything right off the bat. See, because this is get file, get base name capitalize. That's still probably okay. Yeah, I need to go through. Where is this being used? I think this is still kind of wrong, or possibly this is still kind of wrong. Yeah, so runner's still using this. I can't justify it right now. Let's undo this. Let's undo this. These will still work, which is fine. That's fine. That's fine. This is fine. Settings. Yeah, I need a different solution. And this. Let's undo. Just send it, dude. So it's just VRM. Everything else works as about as expected. Remote control GUI. That's fine. All right, so I need some way of getting the prefix. I think I can actually add something to the to the extension files, right? So you define the translation namespace that you're using. So for example, en.text has basically a namespace it's default GUI. Pretty much everything in there is accessible via default GUI. I think that makes sense. Besides this one debug thing, but that's expected, right? Yeah, and then we also have just completely deleted the real-time lip sync stuff, but we'll get back around to that whenever it's convenient for me. What's the diff? Lip sync stuff, we don't care. That's fine. Alright, these are all the translation files, whatever. Send me. So create pop-up. I think this makes more sense because pop-up name is technically optional. Although you should endeavor to provide a pop-up name whenever possible. But I think in cases like this, it is nice because it does clean up the API a little bit. So it's easier to read, like when we create a pop-up for debug console, we know that we're going to be naming it using the translation key for default GUI debug console, right? That's easy. Base pop-up. That still has a to-do on it. I'm still thinking about it. Let's see. Pop-up bones. I did change some of the keys, but that's fine. Logs, text scene. That doesn't look super duper correct, but it's close enough, I guess. And we did also add some text to it. Yeah, all these margins are kind of scuffed. Well, that's fine, I think. Actually, yeah, model has a ton of text scene changes. How painful. It just keeps going and going. Alright, now here we are. Page element, that's all correct, that's all correct. Runner. I don't know why it says I deleted the entire thing. That's not really the correct change set. No, just absolutely fantastic. It tells me absolutely nothing about what was changed. Very good. Default GUI prefix. That's probably okay. Where's runner? Runner. So it's this that changed. All right, let's commit it. I guess that's all that changed for this one. I still need to puzzle this out though. Replace most strings with translation keys. Start working towards translating tree item names at runtime. Yeah, because I don't know what the tree item names will be called, so we'll just hit this with I committed it, right? Yeah. Get status, get push. So this goes straight to the branch. It doesn't go straight to master. So let me think. What's a good way of doing this? So the application technically still works because I don't really depend on string names after this. But how do I rename this stuff? So if it's a built-in, if it's a built-in, right? But if it's not a built-in, then how do I know what to call each one of these things? Like how do I know what to call the remote control thing, remote control GUI, right? How do I know what to call that? Because otherwise, you don't have enough information. I think on the extension, I can define a translation prefix, or maybe even like the translation prefix can be assumed based off of the extension name. And then of course, if you have a bad extension that just breaks all the rules, then whatever, right? But that requires changes to the extension manager. But I think bones, that can go away. Model, that's fine. Settings, probably still need you. Well, actually, model we also still need you, because the initial page value will need to change. Actually, no, because we can always just do that here under setup. So we can try to translate the initial page if possible. That's a bit tough. I don't know, man. That's tough. That's tough. What if I do this? So we have all of our extensions, right? So for VRM, this is our config file that defines everything. So we can define either a specific extension or just kind of use the name as the extension. So name underscore whatever is now your new translation file, which is fine. Or even then, like, you don't need a translation file for VRM, I guess, right? Yeah. So we can have like a translation key prefix, something like that. We'll call it just VRM. Like that. Provide a translation key here, or translation file here, or even you can do it in line as well. It doesn't matter. Well, actually, it does matter. It makes it slightly more complicated if you include it in line, because then I need to change how I parse these entire files. Right. Extension manager. Parse extension function. Yeah, and then I run through every single one of these. And then after that, then I can do like arbitrary extensions, right? Yeah, these are just arbitrary extensions. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea. I do need to define the prefix here, but then new folder, translations, and then here's just your en.text. So it'll always be registered. So this will be called like like VRM runner. We'll just call it VRM, and that's it, right? That your VRM runner is your VRM. It's called VRM runner. It's beautiful. Wait. But then how do I map this back to this? That's tough. Because it is it is based off a file name. It's fine if I change the file name, right? Because the file name doesn't actually matter. I don't directly load the file. I actually load it via this entry point. So if I just change this file name to like vrm runner, change this to vrm_runner.gd, or even just call this runner.gd. Because there's no way for me to define a mapping otherwise between the translation stuff, right? Or maybe these files just need to define their own translation keys. So for this, right, query extensions for type, blah, blah. Then we have your extension resource. Your extension resource should probably be refactored out if I'm being honest, but you have your extension name, your resource name. So extension name is the, VRM. Resource name, VRM runner. Resource type, runner. Entry points is the entry points. And then other selectable GUI would be under other. That's right. So we can store more information in this if totally necessary. Yeah. I'm so mind flooded right now. There's a good solution to this. It's just eluding my brain. Whatever. I've already pushed what I have so far. I don't think I'm going to make any more progress. This is a puzzle. This is a puzzle. Yeah, all the translation stuff totally works for everything that's built in. I have a good solution for all of that, because, believe it or not, all of this stuff, well, excluding this and this, and this, and this. Pretty much everything, actually. But all of this stuff is translated on the fly from the English and translation files. The only problem is figuring out how to translate extension files, because I'm not sure how to figure out what to call them, right? Because you need to somehow prefix all the files, blah, blah. Translations are all namespaced. I don't know. That's something that's going to come to me, but we'll get around to it. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I'll be live Tuesday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, working on this again. Hopefully I come up with a better solution in the meantime. It shouldn't be too hard. There's a lot of things that are possible. The only problem is trying to figure out a clean API to make that happen. That doesn't require too much code. Yeah, let me see. Where is the GitHub? There's the project. Oh, baby. Look at that. Just post that into there. There's the chat. Blah, blah, blah. Give me stars on GitHub. There is a Discord, I guess. Wow, Discord. Wow. Yeah, that's about it. What else? Give the channel follow if you haven't already. I stream Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Wednesdays from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm trying to get I guess like a 9.0.090 release out. So right now we're in alpha. I'm gonna push out in alpha 2 at some point, because not everything is currently implemented. So there's a lot of things still missing, but we're getting pretty close to at least having most things there. We did somewhat recently update, and by somewhat recently I mean like literally yesterday, update to Godot 3.5. So like right now this is actually running via Godot 3.5. How cool. Custom build. Hello Bumdy, thank you very much for redeeming a hydrate at the end of the stream. Drink some water. There we go. There's roughly 400 milliliters of the freshest tap water found in my home. All right. Yeah. Yeah, not enough for a raid, so whatever. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.